It's crazy for me, cause I just feel different. Right now, it's like I'm to a point where I feel like, God, I should give you everything, and that's what I'm gonna do. I need you, Lord. I want you to use me. Just wrap me in your arms, Father. Yeah.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Lord, I want you to use me. Father, please fill me up. Sick of living thirsty, I need that water in my cup. I look out the window of my life, I see a prison, but for some reason he gave us the right to be forgiven. And I'm no longer in the chains on me that I used to be. I feel like a drug, it's like a lot of people using me, abusing me. I usually let it get the best of me. Sick of giving half love, please just take the rest of me. Devil was arresting me, had me in them handcuffs. Used to sit down, now I praise him with my hands up. Had the wrong running shoes, I was off track. Now I know where I'm running to and I ain't going back. See, I would rather die than pretend you don't exist. Got my Bible on my side, got no pistol, got no clip. Got my hands up to the sky. These rappers, they can walk it out. When I say that I'm walking, I'm dancing, ain't what I'm talking about. Sitting, baby.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
I know I'm a sinner, Lord, yeah, it's time for changes. Sick of my head hanging low like Lil Wayne's chambers. I'ma rock stages and angels while I do it. I'ma pull a Lecrae, yeah, and spread that Jesus music. I want you to move me, Lord, yeah, give me that energy. Take me to them places that I thought that I would never be. Caught up in the melody instead of the ministry. Jesus took the pain, broke the chains and delivered me. We go into church, pray to God, yeah, we worship. Don't know what we preach and wonder why it isn't working. I've been in the same boat, I've been in the same shoe. We're walking the same road, I'm dealing with pain too. You don't know if he's real, man, I'm telling you he's gotta be. Need him like oxygen, everybody's gotta breathe. Man, you gotta see, everybody stand up, screaming at the top of your lungs with your hands up.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Yo, I've been to the top, been to the bottom, dealt with the pain, dealt with the problem. Now I'm back in the place again, got a mind full of memories, a mind full of sin. I don't wanna be this way with the things I do and the things I say. Lead me straight, Lord, I just want you to take my sin away. Life is like the radio and everything gets overplayed. Need another station, mind is racing, what's come over me? Sin has got me bad within, I'm battling like overseas. I don't just preach in my music, boy, so we can shoot the breeze. Got this music to a T, but that doesn't mean a thing if I don't take the gift that Jesus gave me and rep the king. See you repping your chain, see you repping your dope. Money doesn't run, so tell me what you chasing for. Guys coming soon, better get strapped. And I ain't talking about them pistols or them big gats. Yeah, I'm talking about the rapture, man. Put your Bible up and yell it till it happens, hey.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
It's crazy for me, cause I just feel different. Right now, it's like I'm to a point where I feel like God, I should give you everything, and that's what I'm gonna do. I need you, Lord. I want you to use me. Just wrap me in your arms, Father. Yeah.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Lord, I want you to use me. Father, please fill me up. Sick of living thirsty, I need that water in my cup. I look out the window of my life, I see a prison. But for some reason, he gave us the right to be forgiven. And I'm no longer in the chains on me that I used to be. I feel like a drug, it's like a lot of people using me, abusing me. I usually let it get the best of me. Sick of giving half love, please just take the rest of me. Devil was arresting me, had me in them handcuffs. Used to sit down, now I praise him with my hands up. Had the wrong running shoes, I was off track. Now I know where I'm running to and I ain't going back. See, I would rather die than pretend you don't exist. Got my Bible on my side, got no pistol, got no clip. Got my hands up to the sky. These rappers, they can walk it out. When I say that I'm walking out, dancing ain't what I'm talking about. Sitting, baby.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
I know I'm a sinner, Lord, yeah, it's time for changes. Sick of my head hanging low like Lil Wayne's chambers. I'ma rock stages and angels while I do it. I'ma pull a Lecrae, yeah, and spread that Jesus music. I want you to move me, Lord, yeah, give me that energy. Take me to them places that I thought that I would never be. Caught up in the melody instead of the ministry. Jesus took the pain, broke the chains, and delivered me. We go into church, pray to God, yeah, we worship. Don't know what we preach and wonder why it isn't working. I've been in the same boat, I've been in the same shoes. We're walking the same road, I'm dealing with pain too. You don't know if he's real, man, I'm telling you he's gotta be. Need him like oxygen, everybody's gotta breathe. Man, you gotta see, everybody stand up. Scream it at the top of your lungs with your hands up.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Yo, I've been to the top, been to the bottom, dealt with the pain, dealt with the problem. Now I'm back in the place again. Got a mind full of memories, a mind full of sin. I don't wanna be this way, but the things I do and the things I say leave me straight. Lord, I just want you to take my sin away. Life is like the radio and everything gets overplayed. Need another station, mind is racing, what's come over me? Sin has got me bad within, I'm battling like overseas. I don't just preach in my music, boy, so we can shoot the breeze. Got this music to a T, but that doesn't mean a thing if I don't take the gift that Jesus gave me and rep the king. See you repping your chain, see you repping your dope. Money doesn't run, so tell me what you chasing for. Guys coming soon, better get
Uh-oh, I did not see any
and I ain't talking about
so
them
if you said
pistols or
something,
them big
I'm sorry.
gangs.
It wasn't
I'm talking about the
God
rats and
bless.
rain. Put your Bible up and yell it still
It
it
always will.
happens. Hey.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
It's crazy for me, cause I just feel different. Right now, it's like I'm to a point where I feel like, God, I should give you everything. And that's what I'm gonna do. I need you, Lord. I want you to use me. Just wrap me in your arms, Father. Yeah.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Lord, I want you to use me. Father, please fill me up. Sick of living thirsty. I need that water in my cup.
Thank you, God, for the double race survival.
But for some reason, he gave us the right to be forgiven. And I'm no longer in the chains on me that I used to be. I feel like a drug, it's like a lot of people using me, abusing me. I usually let it get the best of me. Sick of giving half love, please just take the rest of me. Devil was arresting me, had me in them handcuffs. Used to sit down, now I praise him with my hands up. Had the wrong running shoes, I was off track. Now I know where I'm running to and I ain't going back. See, I would rather die than pretend you don't exist. Got my Bible on my side, got no pistol, got no clip. Got my hands up to the sky. These rappers, they can walk it out. When I say that I'm walking out, dancing ain't what I'm talking about. Sitting, baby.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
I know I'm a sinner, Lord, yeah, it's time for changes. Sick of my head hanging low like Lil Wayne's chambers. I'ma rock stages, angels, why I do it. I'ma pull the cray, yeah, spread that Jesus music. I want you to move me, Lord, yeah, give me that energy. Take me to them places that I thought that I would never be. Caught up in the melody instead of the ministry. Jesus took the pain, broke the chains, and delivered me. We go into church, pray to God, yeah, we worship. Tell me what we preach and wonder why it isn't working. I've been in the same boat, I've been in the same shoes. We're walking the same road, I'm dealing with pain too. You don't know if he's real, man, I'm telling you he's gotta be. Need him like oxygen, everybody's gotta breathe. Man, you gotta see, everybody stand up. Screaming at the top of your lungs with your hands up.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Yo, I've been to the top, been to the bottom, dealt with the pain, dealt with the problem. Now I'm back in the place again. Got a mind full of memories, a mind full of sin. I don't wanna be this way with the things I do and the things I say. Leave me straight, Lord, I just want you to take my sin away. Life is like the radio and everything gets overplayed. Need another station, mind is racing, what's come over me? Sin has got me bad within, I'm battling like overseas. I don't just preach in my music, boy, so we can shoot the breeze. Got this music to a T, but that doesn't mean a thing if I don't take the gift that Jesus gave me and rep the king. See you repping your chain, see you repping your dope. Money doesn't run, so tell me what you chasing for. Guys coming soon, better get strapped. And I ain't talking about them pistols or them big gats. Yeah, I'm talking about the rapture, man. Put your Bible up and yell it till it happens, hey.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
ne pouvez pas me battre.
Yeah, it's crazy for me, cause I just feel different. Right now, it's like I'm to a point where I feel like God, I should give you everything, and that's what I'm gonna do. I need you, Lord. I want you to use me. Just wrap me in your arms, Father. Yeah.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Lord, I want you to use me. Father, please fill me up. Sick of living thirsty, I need that water in my cup. I look out the window of my life, I see a prison. But for some reason he gave us the right to be forgiven. And I'm no longer in the chains on me that I used to be. I feel like a drug, it's like a lot of people using me, abusing me. I usually let it get the best of me. Sick of giving half love, please just take the rest of me. Devil was arresting me, had me in them handcuffs. Used to sit down, now I praise him with my hands up. Had the wrong running shoes, I was off track. Now I know where I'm running to and I ain't going back. See, I would rather die than pretend you don't exist. Got my Bible on my side, got no pistol, got no clip. Got my hands up to the sky. These rappers, they can walk it out. When I say that I'm walking out, dancing ain't what I'm talking about. Sitting,
Lord, I
baby.
need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
I know I'm a sinner, Lord, yeah, it's time for changes. Sick of my head hanging low like Lil Wayne's chambers. I'ma rock stages, angels, why I do it. I'ma pull the Lecrae, yeah, and spread that Jesus music. I want you to move me, Lord, yeah, give me that energy. Take me to them places that I thought that I would never be. Caught up in the melody instead of the ministry. Jesus took the pain, broke the chains, and delivered me. We go into church, pray to God, yeah, we worship. Don't know what we preach and wonder why it isn't working. I've been in the same boat, I've been in the same shoes. We're walking the same road, I'm dealing with pain too. You don't know if he's real, man, I'm telling you he's gotta be. Need him like oxygen, everybody's gotta breathe. Man, you gotta see, everybody stand up. Scream it at the top of your lungs with your hands up.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Yo, I've been to the top, been to the bottom, dealt with the pain, dealt with the problem. Now I'm back in the place again. Got a mind full of memories, a mind full of sin. I don't wanna be this way with the things I do and the things I say. Leave me straight, Lord, I just want you to take my sin away. Life is like the radio and everything gets overplayed. Need another station, mind is racing, what's come over me? Sin has got me bad within, I'm battling like overseas. I don't just preach in my music, boy, so we can shoot the breeze. Got this music to a T, but that doesn't mean a thing if I don't take the gift that Jesus gave me and rep the king. See you repping your chain, see you repping your dope. Money doesn't run, so tell me what you chasing for. Guys coming soon, better get strapped. And I ain't talking about them pistols or them big gats. Yeah, I'm talking about the rapture, man. Put your Bible up and yell it till it happens, hey.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
It's crazy for me, cause I just feel different. Right now, it's like I'm to a point where I feel like, God, I should give you everything, and that's what I'm gonna do. I need you, Lord. I want you to use me. Just wrap me in your arms, Father. Yeah.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Lord, I want you to use me. Father, please fill me up. Sick of living thirsty, I need that water in my cup. I look out the window of my life, I see a prison. But for some reason, he gave us the right to be forgiven. And I'm no longer in the chains on me that I used to be. I feel like a drug, it's like a lot of people using me, abusing me. I usually let it get the best of me. Sick of giving half love, please just take the rest of me. Devil was arresting me, had me in them handcuffs. Used to sit down, now I praise him with my hands up. Had the wrong running shoes, I was off track. Now I know where I'm running to and I ain't going back. See, I would rather die than pretend you don't exist. Got my Bible on my side, got no pistol, got no clip. Got my hands up to the sky. These rappers, they can walk it out. When I say that I'm walking out, dancing ain't what I'm talking about. Sitting, baby.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
I know I'm a sinner, Lord, yeah, it's time for changes. Sick of my head hanging low like Lil Wayne's chambers. I'm a rock stages and angels while I do it. I'm a pull of the cray, yeah, and spread that Jesus music. I want you to move me, Lord, yeah, give me that energy. Take me to them places that I thought that I would never be. Caught up in the melody instead of the ministry. Jesus took the pain, broke the chains, and delivered me. We go into church, pray to God, yeah, we worship. Don't know what we preach and wonder why it isn't working. I've been in the same boat, I've been in the same shoes. We're walking the same road, I'm dealing with pain too. You don't know if he's real, man, I'm telling you he's gotta be. Need him like oxygen, everybody's gotta breathe. Man, you gotta see, everybody stand up, screaming at the top of your lungs with your hands up.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Yo, I've been to the top, been to the bottom, dealt with the pain, dealt with the problem. Now I'm back in the place again. Got a mind full of memories, a mind full of sin. I don't wanna be this way with the things I do and the things I say. Leave me straight, Lord, I just want you to take my sin away. Life is like the radio and everything gets overplayed. Need another station, mind is racing, what's come over me? Sin has got me bad within, I'm battling like overseas. I don't just preach in my music, boy, so we can shoot the breeze. Got this music to a T, but that doesn't mean a thing if I don't take the gift that Jesus gave me and rep the king. See you repping your chain, see you repping your dope. Money doesn't run, so tell me what you chase it for. Guys coming soon, better get strapped. And I ain't talking about them pistols or them big gats. Yeah, I'm talking about the rapture, man. Put your Bible up and yell it till it happens, hey.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
It's crazy for me, cause I just feel different. Right now, it's like I'm to a point where I feel like, God, I should give you everything, and that's what I'm gonna do. I need you, Lord. I want you to use me. Just wrap me in your arms, Father. Yeah.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Lord, I want you to use me. Father, please fill me up. Sick of living thirsty, I need that water in my cup. I look out the window of my life, I see a prison. But for some reason, he gave us the right to be forgiven. And I'm no longer in the chains on me that I used to be. I feel like a drug, it's like a lot of people using me, abusing me. I usually let it get the best of me. Sick of giving half love, please just take the rest of me. Devil was arresting me, had me in them handcuffs. Used to sit down, now I praise him with my hands up. Had the wrong running shoes, I was off track. Now I know where I'm running to and I ain't going back. See, I would rather die than pretend you don't exist. Got my Bible on my side, got no pistol, got no clip. Got my hands up to the sky. These rappers, they can walk it out. When I say that I'm walking out, dancing ain't what I'm talking about. Sitting, baby.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
I know I'm a sinner, Lord, yeah, it's time for changes. Sick of my head hanging
What a
over
win.
like Lil Wayne's chambers. I'm a rock
Thank you, God, for the
stages,
victory.
angels, why I do it. I'm a pull of the cray, yeah, it's great that Jesus moves it. I want you to move me, Lord, yeah, give me that energy. Take me to
We're
the
going to
places
rap.
that I thought that I would never be.
Thank God for what an epic win. What an epic win. You read that?
The chains and deliver me. We go into church, pray to God, yeah, we worship. Tell me what we preach and wonder why it isn't working. I've been in the same boat, I've been in the same shoes. We're walking the same road. I'm dealing with pain too. You don't know if he's real, man. I'm telling you, he's gotta be. Need him like oxygen. Everybody's gotta breathe. Man, you gotta see. Everybody stand up, screaming at the top of your lungs with your hands up.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
Yo, I've been to the top, been to the bottom, dealt with the pain, dealt with the problem. Now I'm back in the place again. Got a mind full of memories, a mind full of sin. I don't wanna be this way with the things I
All right.
do and the things I
Let us perform. And when we perform, we like to think our main audience is one person, God. And if we're able to perform for God, look, everybody else extra. Thank you, God, for the wins. NF,
It's
I
crazy
mean,
for me.
it's crazy for me because I feel
I just feel
like different right now.
Right now, it's like I'm to a
I'm to a point where I feel
like God, I should give you
give
everything.
everything.
And that's
That's
what
what I'm gonna do.
I need you, Lord.
I need you, Lord.
I
I
need
need
you.
you, God.
Just
I
wrap
just
me
want
in
you
your
to
arms,
use me.
Father.
Just wrap me in your arms, Father.
Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms. Wrap me in your arms.
want you to use me. Father, please fill me up. Sick of living thirsty, I need that water in my cup. I look out the window of my life, I see a prison. But for some reason he gave us the right to be forgiven. And I'm no longer reading chains on me that I used to be. I feel like a drug, it's like a lot of people using me, abusing me. I usually let they get the best of me. Sick of giving love, please take the rest of me. Devil was arresting me, had me in the handcuffs. Used to sit down, now I praise him with my hands up. Had to run into, I was off track. Now I don't know where I'm running to, and I ain't going back. See,
Our voice completely dead. May we honor God and may we somehow be able to honor God.
Had the wrong running shoes, I was off track. Now I know where I'm running to, and I ain't going back. See, I would rather die than pretend you don't exist. Got my Bible on my side, got no pistol, got no grips. Got my hands up to the sky, these rappers they can walk it out. When I say I'm walking, I'm dancing, that's what I'm talking about. Sitting back, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Yeah, I'm a sinner, Lord, it's time for changes. Sick of my head hanging low, I do range changes. I'm a rock stages, angels, why I do it. I'm a full of Korean, spread that Jesus music. I want you to move me, Lord, you give me that energy. Take me to them places that I thought that I would never be. Caught up in the metal chambers. I'm a rock stages, angels, why I do it. I'm a full of Korean, spread that Jesus music. I want you to move me, Lord, give me that energy. Take me to them places that I thought that I would never be. Caught up in the melody instead of the ministry. Jesus took the pain, broke the chains, and delivered me. We go into church,
Read up.
the pain, broke
Jesus took the pain, broke the chains, and delivered me.
the melody instead of the ministry. Jesus took the pain, broke the chains, and delivered me. We go into church, pray to God, yeah, we worship. Don't look at the ministry. Jesus took the pain, broke the chains, and delivered me. We go into church, pray to God, yeah, we worship. Don't know what we bring, so wonder why it isn't working. I've been in the same boat, I've been in the same truth. We walk in the same road. I'm dealing with pain too. You don't know if he's real, man, I'm telling you he's gotta be. Need him like oxygen, everybody's gotta breathe. Man, you gotta see, everybody stand up, screaming at the top of your lungs with your hands up. Lord, I need you, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Yo, been to the top, been to the bottom, dealt with the pain, dealt with the problem. Now I'm back in the place again. Got a mind full of memories, a mind full of sin. I don't wanna be this way, but the things I do and the things I say lead me astray. Lord, I just want you to take my sin away. Life is like the radio and everything is overplayed. Need another station, mind is racing, what's come over me? Sin has got me bad within, I'm battling like overseas. I don't just preach in my music, Lord, so we can choose to breathe. Got this music to a T, but that doesn't mean a thing if I don't take the gift that Jesus gave me and rep the king. See you repping the chain, see you rep. Got this music to a T, but that doesn't mean a thing if I don't take the gift that Jesus gave me and rep the king. See you repping the chain, see you repping your gold. Money doesn't run you, so tell me what you chasing for. God's coming soon, better get strapped. And I ain't talking about them pistols or them big gas. Yeah, I'm talking about the rapture, man. Put your Bible up and yell it till it happens. Hey, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. Yeah, Lord, I need you. Wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms.
We're gonna head out. God bless you guys. My dream is to be able to do the best of my ability, no matter who's watching, who's listening, who's there. I want to live my life as if every moment is recorded. I want to live my life as if I'm streaming even when I'm not streaming. I want to live my life as if I'm writing an essay. My life story is an essay. The choices I make is an essay. You know, technically, every single thought we think makes up a living document. Every single thought we think can be processed in language, and it can be actually typed out. So let's just pretend every single thought we've ever thought was typed by an angel and put into a document. And when you die, you can't put any more. You can't type anymore. You can't think anymore. You can't add to that. That's your essay. That's your life song. That's what you turn in to the professor after the test is done. When life's a test, we gotta submit an essay, and our essay is our life. And what are the words in our life? Every thought, every action. I'm not perfect, but I strive to live as if my life was recorded at every single moment, and that it's going to be submitted and then graded. I believe from a philosophical point of view, even if it wasn't true, even if this wasn't reality, it's a great way to check, am I doing something I'm proud of? Am I doing something that I'm enjoying? Am I living right? Am I ready to die? If being ready to die is an honor, it's a skill. If it's like Bushido, the way of the warrior. If you're ready to die, I think that helps us capture those moments in life more efficiently. Just remembering our death. Every human's gonna die. We make fun of things like, oh, people do that. They're like, oh, stupid people do this, stupid thing. Let's stop worrying about other people. Let's focus on on us, on me. I don't really care what other people do. I'm focused on me. I'm not responsible for other people's essays. I'm only responsible for my essay. You know? And I want to submit that paper to God, smiling, excited, knowing I did my best, knowing I wrote everything I wanted to write, and that I didn't write in things I didn't want to write in, right? That's my dream. And I personally believe that it's actually really, 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 really hard. Really hard. This life is really hard. And it's super hard. That's why this song is talking about wrap me in your arms. And it talks about failure and humans' inability to choose the right things and do the right things despite knowing what's right and what's suboptimal lines of play. And so one of the best prayers that could accompany something like wrap me in your arms, God, use my failures. Use my poor decisions. Use my mistakes. God, I invite you. You're welcome to use me as you see fit. I want to join your team. I want to be on hashtag Team Jesus. Team Jesus is the best team I know that exists. Team Jesus does not mean Catholics, Christians, or whatever. It means the people who are on the same team as Jesus. There are people who are on hashtag Team Jesus who are not Christians. Hashtag Team Jesus, to me, means living as if Jesus' words were real. And Jesus said some basic stuff. He said things like, treat others as you want to be treated, the golden rule. He said things like, take care of the poor, the sick. Visit those people in prison. Give to those who are naked. Clothe those who are naked. Give food and drink to those who are hungry and thirsty. So there are people who have literally been on hashtag Jesus. They didn't even know it. They're just like giving people who are hungry food, giving people who are thirsty drink. And Jesus said, if you do that, you're on my team. Or rather, I'm on your team. And so hashtag Team Jesus isn't about, oh, we are the righteous elite and you're not worthy of us. You're the wrong skin color. And hashtag Team Jesus is to embrace Jesus is saying the creed, love your neighbor as yourself. And he said, who's your neighbor? He said, everybody. He said, y'all family, y'all genetically related. He was ahead of his time. Jesus was saying, y'all genetically related, guys. Why y'all hating? Why y'all hating? You guys are all homies. You're all blood. You're all kin. And so now that we know the science, we know that oh wow, Jesus was right. every human being genetically related, common ancestor, traceable back to a certain place and time. What did you know? And Jesus was saying, guys, you could be black and the person who's white is related to you, and you should love your own family members. If you're black and your family member's white, you may not think so because you're just thinking about in today's paradigm. But if you go back in time and see the origin of the human species and look and be careful just from a scientific empirical point of view, it's quite clear that every single human being is a cousin. We cousins. So when someone's torturing someone to death, that's a person torturing a cousin to death, which is why Jesus made it so very logical and specific. Yeah, you're cousins, so don't torture each other to death. Okay. And the best thing about Team Jesus is that it's a team of people who have big hearts, who are strong, who are courageous, who are willing to speak up, who are willing to take action in a world that's dangerous to speak up, dangerous to take action. It's a team full of game changers, lifesavers. It's a team where next level thinking, problem solving, solution oriented thinking. It's a team of strategists. Morse code was actually developed by a follower of Jesus. He was on Team Jesus. Morse code was to help people who are blind be able to read. And I just want to point out that as a Chinese person, Morse code was never going to be invented by Chinese people because Chinese people don't care about blind people naturally. We think, well, if you're blind, you're screwed. So you're screwed, so sorry, sucks to be you. And in order to develop Morse code, the inventor had to believe it was possible for the blind to see. He had to believe that it was worth doing. Blind people are a very small demographic. If you're brilliant enough to come up with Morse code, you're smart enough to come up with other business enterprises that are far more profitable. So if you ended up if you had a choice, all right, I'm going to develop chemical weapons and make that big money and get this big contracts with be just like Lockheed Martin, or are you going to develop Morse code and try your best to help blind people be able to read? It's like most people would have made that decision easily off of just product market fit. Oh, yeah, I'm going to pursue the chemical weapons because that's the sexy job. That's the one that makes more money, and you get to blow things up. But a follower of Jesus decided, you know what? I want to help people who are blind read, and that's how you got Morse code. That guy was on Team Jesus. Let's just get his name right since I don't know what his first name is. I think it's William. That's a random guess. I think Morse code was invented by a guy. Where you at? Samuel. His name's even from the Bible. Samuel Morse. The name Samuel comes from the prophet Samuel, from the book of Samuel. He's a prophet that anointed King David, little boy, shepherd boy David, into king. And you know what's interesting? AT&T, Alexander Graham Bell, was also a follower of Jesus. He was the founder of American Telegraph and Telephone, AT&T, American Telegraph and Telephone. And he believed, that's how he invented the telephone. He believed in things that you could not see. When you believe in things that you cannot see, it doesn't mean you're a crazy fool. It means that you believe that what you see is not all there is. And when you believe that all you see is what there is, you're going to be a bad inventor. I'm just going to tell you right now. You're not going to invent very many things. You're not going to create new things if you're just like looking around like, this is how it always is and this is how it's going to always be. You're not going to be able to find those next level opportunities if you're not specifically believing. Every person who's an inventor believes the world as it is could change, and just because other people didn't find it doesn't mean I can't find it. So they put in the work, and they actually emotionally have decided that it's possible that the whole world could be doing things wrongly. Basically, Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone, basically with his invention was like, y'all been doing it wrong for 3,000 years, guys. You've been sending messengers by pigeon, by pony, by foot. Dude, you know did you know that in the Andes, South America, in Chile, their 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 communication system was having foot runners. And then I don't know if you could ride llamas, but let's pretend they rode llamas too. But they had foot runners, man. They had foot runners running from one post to the next post. God, how slow that is. You know, in the American West, we had the Pony Express. We sent messages by pony. We used to send text messages via pony. Okay, and I'm not trying to like hate on that. I'm just letting you know that it is possible that the human race has been doing things wrong for a very long time. We have a track record for doing things wrong for a very long time. And in the instance of the telephone, do you realize Alexander Graham Bell could have been invented earlier than him, right? He just discovered something, a combination of naturally discoverable assets. Like the telephone's comprised of things that were available in the time of pharaohs. So when we were busy sending foot couriers over here, foot couriers over there, running over there with pigeons and stuff like that, the telephone could have been invented. All the necessary ingredients to build a telephone existed. And we live in a world where there are still the ingredients that exist to create more inventions and more stuff. I mean, the computer chip is made out of silicon. I mean, silicon was seen as useless for like a very long time. So, some people have looked at Jesus and said, yeah, I don't need you. And look, I don't think Jesus offended. It's fine. If you don't need him, that's cool. But I just want to point out that hashtag Team Jesus has notable people like Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone, Samuel Morse, who invented Morse code. I don't know what I'm going to invent. I'm Chris Sweet. I'm just doing my best. And I'm not saying this stuff say, we so cool, you so not cool. No, I just want to point out, like, because some people really, 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 to the bones, they believe anyone who believes in Jesus is a crazy fool, illogical, irrational, poor at philosophy, doesn't know history, doesn't understand anything, just a babbler or somebody who just memorizes things, not a first principle thinker, not able to think for themselves. They're just regurgitating things that have been dumped on them. And yes, that does describe quite a few people. But I don't think it describes me, Samuel Morse, or Alexander Graham Bell. Or Jesus. I mean, Jesus was creative. Jesus, it's worth noting, Jesus was such a landmark thinker. Such a landmark thinker. People still talk about the topics that Jesus was the first person to bring up. Jesus brought up a lot of interesting philosophical, intellectual topics that other people talk about because he talked about it. He mentioned it. So Jesus brought up juicy, interesting conversations. In fact, every single thing Jesus said is commentary worthy and worthy of a long conversation. Every single topic he's mentioned, every single thing he said was thought provoking. Every single thing he said could transform the human heart. And these are all things that indicate to me that, hey, as a thinker, Jesus was top notch. And so to be part of his team is to accept that mandate and say, hey, Jesus' mission was to transform human societies, not by using armies, but by transforming the human heart. And his principal way of transforming the human heart was twofold. One, using love, and two, using words. And I'm hoping I can become better at that. He used words, love, and action. And he was able to create a team on a low budget that basically outlives him. He created a team, a mentality, a group of people that are not afraid of failure, a group of people who are not afraid of death, a group of people who are not afraid of torture. Not because torture's not bad, torture sucks. Death sucks. They're not afraid of these things because they're so in love, so excited about other things. So that means, like, they want to honor what is good and true, and if it means getting tortured to death, honoring what is good and true, it's an easy decision for them in the sense that it's like, yeah, I cannot abandon what is good and true just to not get tortured. Yeah, I like living, but I cannot abandon life. I cannot abandon my mission just because death is pointing a gun, staring me in the face, pointing a gun at me, or being threatened. And the decision to live like Jesus is to say, I'm not gonna get bullied. I'm not gonna let them bully me with weapons. I'm not gonna let them bully me with threats. I'm not going to live scared. They want to scare me. Look, they're gonna have to kill me. They're not gonna. They can try to scare me. They can use their tactics. They can use blackmail. They can use blacklisting. All right. My God sees everything that happens. And everything you take away from me in this life, my God can respawn me with it 100,000 times over. You steal my house in this life, God sees it. God can be like, I see they stole your house. I'm going to respawn you with 100,000 times that. God's got that power. And it's not that we don't want, it's not like we're excited to have things taken away from us. It's the fact that if getting things taken away from us because we love God is the equation, I want to be on this team with the guy who can respawn houses. Like, you can take away everything we have. God can respawn all of it. It's a big deal. Big deal. It's going to be uncomfortable. If you take away everything I have, I'll be uncomfortable. It's going to suck. It's going to be some suffering. But life's short anyways. I'm dead. I get to meet my maker face to face. He's like, you my good and faithful servant. I saw what you've been through. Hey, fist bump. I want to fist bump God and be like, what's good? What you been up to? Let's hang out sometime. Okay. I'm out. Be back later. God bless you guys. I just hope I was able to shine some light on who God is to me and share that with other people. That's an honor. See, it's an honor to introduce someone to a new friend. It's an honor to introduce someone. Like, if you're friends with a celebrity and you're introducing them to somebody, it's that person's honor. Jesus is a celebrity, but he's not just a celebrity. He's the A plus list celebrity. You see, when all the celebrities of this age are forgotten, nobody's going to forget Jesus. People who hate Jesus know who Jesus is. People who hate Jesus know what Jesus said. They remember what he said, and they make fun of him for what he said. But the funny thing is, they can't forget Jesus. You can forget every actor. You can forget every other celeb. Okay? In your old age, it's going to happen. But I guarantee you, forgetting Jesus is so hard. Imagine you heard about Jesus once. You think you can mind wipe yourself and just like, all right, I heard about Jesus. No. Jesus was so thought-provoking. He's either going to be completely rejected, and in that case, when he's completely rejected, he's still going to be remembered, or is he going to be completely accepted? And when he's completely accepted, of course he's going to be remembered. And I think that's crazy. Humans are so forgettable. I meet people left and right, and I forget their names. Jesus is unforgettable. Okay, bye-bye, and take care.